Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We will not be starting just yet. We'll be starting in a couple minutes. Please hang tight. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being patient with us, and we will get started as quickly as possible. We got you. Hello, everyone. We'll be getting started in just a minute or two. Thank you for coming out. We will get started very shortly. Hope you guys are super excited to learn about how your professional development can be developed through Circle K and the Kiwanis family. Please hang tight. We'll get started in just in a minute. Thank you for your patience, and we'll start. Yeah, we're very excited to start, and that we're very excited to see you all here tonight. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the District Kiwanis Family and Foundation Committee's January webinar. which is professional development with the Kiwanis family. We're very excited to have you all here tonight. We're very excited that you all took some time out of your busy schedules to come join us just to learn how professional development can be achieved through your connections and the activities that you have with the Kiwanis family. So before we get started, we have a couple of quick reminders, but I just want to say again, we're very, very thankful that you're all here tonight. So before we get started, let's just cover a couple little things before we get started. So we have our registration link and we have our question submission form for y'all to look at. So to sign in for the webinar to receive credit for attending for the webinar requirement, you can go to tinyurl.com/KFF webinar sign in. If you sign in there, it'll ask you for your name, your school, your division, and which webinar you attended, along with another field or so. So please make sure to fill that out, or else you will not get counted for attending today's webinar. It's very important. Very, very, very important. And also we have a question submission form. So at tinyurl.com/KFF webinars questions, we have a form that you can fill out if you ever have any questions during the webinar. We will have a Q&A session at the end of tonight's program, so please make sure to fill that out. And if you have any questions, we will definitely answer that to the best of our ability during the Q&A session. Please hang tight. It's going to be quite a ride. We hope you keep all your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because there's going to be a roller coaster of information about how the Kiwanis family can benefit your professional development. So we will get started with introductions of our hosts. Yay!
Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline. I'm a second year, currently studying at UC Berkeley. Right now I serve on the KFF committee as the media assistant. One important skill that I learned from the Kiwanis family is recognizing areas for improvement and growth.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew and I'm a fourth year studying at UC Berkeley. My current position is on the KFF district committee and I'm the executive assistant. And I think that perhaps the most important skill that I've learned from the Kiwanis family is networking inside and outside of the Kiwanis family, because of all the interactions I've had with Kiwanians have been incredibly humbling, and I just learned so much.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nick Stringfellow. I'm a third year at UC Los Angeles. I currently serve the KFF committee as the workshops and webinars coordinator. So I make all the webinar slides and put everything together for y'all. And I'm also a past Kiwanis Family Networking Chair, where during this position I worked closely with Kiwanians and worked with some professional development programs myself. And the most important skill I learned from the Kiwanis family is how to work professionally with people of all ages and disciplines. The Kiwanis family has many different people of all different ages, as I'm sure y'all are aware, because we have many different branches. And being able to work with such a diverse group of people from different ages, from different backgrounds to different personalities has been something that I'm very thankful for in the Kiwanis family. And the skill I learned by doing that often really helped me work with other people and work outside of Circle K and inside Circle K as well. So we're going to get started with our content for today, which is for professional development and the Kiwanis family. All right. So before we get started, we're going to go through the overview of today's topics. So basic things we'll be covering the 1, 2, 3s of professional development. So key elements of professional development that you all should be aware of, things that I'm sure hopefully you all have heard before, but if not, you'll be hearing for the first time. Important things like, we'll talk about that later. And we'll also be talking about why Kiwanians are great professional resources and how the Kiwanis family links together to your professional life, how Kiwanians can play a role in your professional development, how they can directly help and benefit you as you look to increase your skills and build your resume and build your repertoire of achievements as you go into the workforce, programs for Kiwanis family professional development. So we do have a couple examples of programs that you could do that will help you and your members work together to develop your professional skills. And lastly, a couple of key takeaways, and throughout the whole thing, we'll be covering tips for professional development during our content.
Okay, so a bit of 1, 2, 3s, professional development. First, we're gonna start off with networking. So there's a lot to networking. It's super important. It really helps you kind of gain a better sense of what you want to do, as well as things that you aspire to look for, and maybe even find out what you might not want to do. So first of all, I think a really great platform that anyone can get started with is LinkedIn. It's a social platform that's online, which is great to find jobs as well as internships. But you can also find other individuals who hold a job that you potentially like. So what's great about LinkedIn is they have multiple tools for you to make kind of networking easier to find who you want to talk to. So they have a tool where you can find alumni of your school, where you can, create instant connection with people who previously would have been strangers. You wouldn't have been able to find them without this platform. You can change the tools to your school, what kind of area that they're in, as well as the company that they work in, or even the department that they work in. So to update your LinkedIn, it's much like your resume, which Matt will talk more about. But aside from kind of the resume portion, it's also a great tool for networking. On LinkedIn, you can also send messages to individuals that you find, and you can set up a coffee chat with them. So what a coffee chat request is say like a 30-minute kind of conversation. And here you will schedule time to talk to professionals in the field. For your coffee chat, of course, you want to prepare your questions beforehand. So you're going to ask questions about like what you want to know more about the person, their job, how they got there. And of course, you can even ask for opinions on personal projects that you are working on to, kind of bring something new to the table. Do note that coffee chats are not looking for a job, but rather it's to create a deeper connection with someone who may be in a job that you may like and want to learn more about, and it also creates a connection. This is even simpler with Kiwanis, since you can even have basically these conversations when doing service together, and it's really easy to do that. Something a little harder though is going to career fairs. So for tips of networking at career fairs, for the recruiters, you want to make sure that you make a lasting impression on them. So make sure that you can research the company beforehand and know what openings are available. Think about questions like, what does the company do? Who does it help? What is special about the company? And what sets it apart from its competitors? Oftentimes for career fairs, the event will post what companies are coming, so you can definitely save some time when you're there and research the companies that you would like to go to, since usually there's quite a line before you can go to a recruiter and talk to them. So being able to come up with questions pertaining to, say, a position that you're interested, or even questions that will personally affect the recruiter, like, oh, what was your experience like at this company, or what is your day-to-day job like, will definitely make a more lasting impression on them. And of course, if the recruiter asks you questions, make sure you are also prepared, understanding what experience and projects you want to share with others. And of course, don't be afraid to share the work that you do through Circle K. It's super valid, and you learn a lot through this organization as well. At the end of your conversation at your career fair, make sure you ask for a business card of the recruiter you talk to, and then follow up with them. Be sure to follow up with the people you meet. So one tip is, once you get someone's business card, especially if it was a quick meeting, you should write down where you met them and also something interesting about the conversation. And definitely try and include this information in your follow-up. So this could be emailing them about thanking them, or even more questions that you may have about the company, as well as a position that is open. So since I talked about resume earlier with LinkedIn, Matt will tell you a bit more about resume building.
Hi, everyone. So now I'm going to talk a lot more about resumes. So first, I'm going to begin by asking, what is a resume? A resume is a really brief method for a job seeker to really introduce themselves to anyone who might be hiring. And the parameters should include details about your own skills, abilities, and accomplishments. There are different studies that state that employers spend between 6 to 60 seconds looking over your own resume, which kind of sucks considering how much time you spend putting in to make it look really professional and presentable. So for that exact reason, it's really, really important that you take the time to make your resume look good and stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some general tips to making a decent resume. So let me begin by making visual considerations. So you want your resume to be sweet, short, and to the point. A resume really should not be too long. Many employers don't want to or have the time to look at a resume that's really longer than a page. And in addition to that, you want to list everything in reverse chronological order. So since I'm almost graduating college, if I were looking at a resume for myself, I would list my current university and then maybe whatever I did in college, and then maybe underneath that high school activities. Especially because that would be reverse chronological order. After that, you want to make sure that special visual effects are not always your friend, even though they may look really nice. It's always safe to use traditional readable font and size. And talking more about traditional font, your typeface should be really legible and easy on the eyes. So like Times New Roman and size 12 font would look good, whereas Comic Sans would not be as great. You want to avoid talking about fluff and instead focus and narrow in on your own accomplishments. And of course, you want to watch out for the layout. The margins should be thin. Your font size should be readable. There shouldn't be too much space and too much gap in between everything you list out. And if you do a physical resume, you want to make sure your paper is nice. After that, I'm going to talk about a little more about the different elements for a resume. So they are your name and contact information, your educational background, professional experience, extracurricular activities, honors and awards, and special skills and hobbies. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this order that you prioritize things, but definitely name and contact should go first. So let's begin. Name and contact information. Your name should be in large font, and you should include email, phone number, and address so that the employers could possibly contact you. After that, a traditional line would be the educational background. Under this section, you want to include institutions that you graduated from or anticipate graduating from, and then further, you want to include your graduation dates or anticipated dates. After that, you want to include fields of study. So like this includes majors and minors. And then you want to include your GPA. But one thing I should note is that GPA you should go by a case-by-case basis. So one traditional convention is like, if your GPA isn't quite yet a 3.0, you might be better off leaving it off until hopefully you can raise it up pretty soon. And after that, you do want to include honors and awards conferred by your institution if it applies. So like if you make Dean's List, that'd be a really good thing to put on. After that, you want to include all institutions of higher education that you attended. So for example, if you're a transfer student, you can include your community college and your current institution. After that, you can talk about your professional experience, which is the next line. Under this section, you want to include jobs and internships that you've held. And then under each section, you want to detail your employer, your dates of employment, roles and duties performed, and any significant accomplishments that you can sort of detail for the employer. After that, you want to talk about extracurricular activities, which is the next line. Under this line, you would include school, clubs, or service opportunities that you participate in outside of school. Similarly, you can include the basic information that you did before under professional experience, meaning employer, dates of employment, or the club that you're in, and then the roles and duties and any significant accomplishments. So just for example, since we are part of Circle K, this is a really good space for you to include general information on different Circle K service events or positions that you might hold. So since we're the Kiwanis Family committee, I'm just going to use the Kiwanis Family chair at certain schools as an example. So if you're a KFAM chair that hosts Key to College, you could say under the line, hosted a series of college accessibility and informational workshops to X amount of high school students. Or or similarly, you could do that for whatever event that you do for your respective role. So you could also write like Kiwanis Takeover or something like that. After that, you want to talk about your honors awards, as the next line. Under this section, you would talk about any awards and special honors, especially if they're relevant to the position you're applying for. And then the final section is skills and special skills and hobbies. So under this section, you include any relevant talent and skills, such as proficiency in languages, ability to code for computer science, or even skills in Microsoft Word. But don't just include a bunch of skills and neglect putting information down for relevant work experience. And in addition, if you don't have enough space, or if you have too much space, it might be valuable to include any hobbies that you're involved in. So for example, if some employers include allow for two-page resumes, I might include that. Oh yeah, in my free time I do knitting. And one time an employer actually stopped and asked me about that, and we started talking a lot about knitting, which is really cool. So now that I've talked about some of these points, I just want to reiterate a few really important aspects about resumes. So resumes are need to be relevant and tailored to the job that you're applying for. They need to be aesthetically pleasing. They need to be complete. They need to be accurate. They need to be focused. They need to be short. They need to be professional. They need to be current. But more importantly, the resume needs to be yours.
All right, so moving on forward, the last thing of our the 1, 2, 3s of professional development is skill development. So building your skills and knowledge will help make you a more desired candidate for jobs and internships, especially if you're looking for things in different career fields. Different employers may be looking for specific skills that are specific to that job, or specific to that field, that you can definitely think about thinking, hey, I should probably learn more about that, or I should learn how to do that. It's in order to make myself more employable and hopefully land you a job and land you in a career that you'll really enjoy. So different jobs do require a lot of different things, and knowing how you can apply and grow your own personal capital to the workforce can make a big difference as you enter your career. You have many different things that make up who you are, different skills and different attributes that make you you, and that make you a good employee. So knowing your skills and knowing how you can develop them, maybe knowing where you're short, where you can grow, is definitely super important as you work towards and build your professional image and look for different opportunities. Now, you may think that Circle K might not have a lot of skill development, but trust me, there's everything you do in Circle K develops your skills already. And a lot of times you don't think about this. A lot of times you don't think about the different things that we do in Circle K benefiting your professional life, but actually a lot of things do. So for example, if you're planning events, you could write, I have experience in event planning, doing logistics, organizing volunteers. If you lead a committee, you can say, I've led a committee of how to delegate to different tasks, have people work under me. And if you do community service, you know how to work with others, work for a cause, get familiar with different initiatives and different programs. If you hold a leadership role, a lot of those roles you require different skills. So for example, if you're a treasurer, you have to know how to do fundraising things, you know how to do a budget, have to know how to raise money, work with other organizations, and do all these different financial things. And the list goes on and on and on and on. There are so many different things that Circle K does to develop our skills. And if you take a look at all the things that you do in Circle K, you'd be surprised at how many things that you know how to do. So let's move on to different resources that you can do for your skill development. So first, workshops at your campus. So different schools may offer a career center or offer a resource center for specific things regarding your career, professional development, and so on and so forth. So for example, UCLA has a career center. So they host workshops almost weekly, between weekly and monthly, and they have different employers come in, different companies come in and talk about their companies, different networking nights, like for different career fields, and even just things in general. They host programs that all work toward developing us professionally. And there are such great resources that you should definitely look into if your campus offers it. There's probably also different things in the community that you can look at also along the same kind of avenue. Next is online courses. So there are lots of different resources online, surprisingly, that you can use skills that you might want to work on. There are free courses from different websites that, like I said, they're free, and you could take them and you could learn specific skills or learn just whole new things in general. Like for example, I took free online classes to learn how to code different programming languages because I wanted to learn how to program more. So I did that, and now I know how to program more languages. I did that during winter break. And like, these things may seem small, but if you're looking for a specific working place or a specific field you want to enter into, it doesn't hurt to try out these different resources. Also, see if your school offers free access to some of the websites and resources that you can use to take these online classes. I know UCLA has multiple connections to different websites where you can take classes for free, and it definitely saves you a lot of money, especially being a student. Money is tight, and using the resources you have can definitely help you get to the whole next level in terms of your professional development. Next, talk to people in your field, your intended field. Who better to talk to than the people who are already in there? Find out what you need to do, find out what you need to know, maybe find out tips and tricks, maybe things that worked and things that didn't, for people who are entering your field, who already entered your field. So they're such a great resource no matter who you talk to. So they can be super, super helpful and even help you along the way if you really seek that out. And then lastly, roles in clubs and organizations. By taking opportunities and roles in clubs and different orgs like Circle K, cough, cough, you will grow, and you can use that experience on your resume and apply that to really any kind of job. Like I mentioned, Circle K is super great for skill development. And if you're looking to improve different skills, you can maybe try on different positions. Maybe you can work with different committees. You can take different workshops. You can attend different webinars like this one. And you can do a lot of different things. You'd be surprised how many opportunities there are within our district and outside of our district and within your clubs and within your divisions that you can look into to develop different skills and get involved. So those are all things that I highly recommend you all do and look into, because you never know what skills you'll learn and you never know where it could take you. So now we're going to move on to how the professionalism links with the Kiwanis family. So where does the Kiwanis family fit in all this? Well, what you do in Circle K fits really well into your professional development. Like I said earlier, and like Jacqueline and Matt mentioned earlier, the things you do in Circle K can be applied to your resume. They can open up networking opportunities between you and Kiwanis and you and other Circle K members. And they can develop your skills and the skills that you wanted to know, the skills you want to work on as you enter the workforce. And Kiwanis specifically, if you're looking for professional development, are full of great resources. Kiwanians are super knowledgeable about their fields. Kiwanians are super mature, and they have so much experience to give and so much advice to offer. And they're very, very, very excited to share that experience with Circle K members and to help us along the way. That's one of the benefits of being within the Kiwanis family, is that you have a whole network of support and a whole network of knowledge that you can tap into and hopefully use that to get advice. You can build your networking skills and network yourself and develop your knowledge about creating the pathways and the avenues that you want to do in order to enter your career field. And all the branches require you to be challenged, to try different things, diversify your experience, and work with many different kinds of people. And the more you work with the Kiwanis family and also work with other Circle K members, you'll see that there's such a huge amalgamation of different personalities and different working styles that if you take those into consideration, you may realize that, oh, I've worked with so many different people. I think this has really helped me become a more well-rounded leader. So definitely look into those things. And the Kiwanis family is a resource, whether you may not have realized it before.
So now I'm going to talk about why Kiwanians are really a great professional resource. Kiwanians are very mature, much more mature than we are. And with that maturity comes knowledge and life experiences. Kiwanians are involved in various professional fields and occupations ranging from technology, business, science, mathematics, politics, health and medical, music, and even academia, and so much more. You can learn more about the positions that Kiwanians hold and the occupations that they hold. You can learn about the day-to-day life in the job. You can learn about the pros and cons of the job, how they got there in the first place, alternative jobs that they might have wanted instead of that, and as well as a plethora of other questions that you could really just ask them and find out, because they are there as a resource.
So, kind of from what Matt and Nick have talked about, how can you tie Kiwanis family into your professional development? So Matt kind of brushed upon how Kiwanians are great professional resources. This is the same as career mentors. You can ask advice from Kiwanians and gain more insight from their careers. Also connect with Kiwanians from inside and outside of your intended field. This definitely helps you gain more perspective, especially if you don't know what you would like to pursue. Of course, this also applies for Circle K members who hold different experiences that may not seem as daunting, such as like internships that they did over the summer. And they may even know of opportunities that you can be a part of. Also, make sure you follow up with the Kiwanians. If you have conversations you are super excited about, or just wish that you wish the conversation continued and wanted to learn more about what someone is doing, definitely ask for their contact information for that future conversation, or even just to ask if you could job shadow them and like follow them around during their job sometime in the future.
Okay, so to add on to another part of how the Kiwanis family connects with professional development, let's look at career opportunities. So Kiwanians themselves can connect you with opportunities that may help you get hired. These could range from different networking events. These could range to different resources in the communities that you both serve, or other communities that you serve, online resources, and different things, and even experience or like introducing you to people who can help you get where you need to go. Kiwanians have a lot of different connections, and they have a lot of different tools that they've used and tools that they have access to that can definitely help you get to where you need to go in terms of your career. Also, you can ask Kiwanians for the tricks and tools that they used in the past. Like mentioned earlier, Kiwanians have been through the things that we're going through now in terms of transitioning into our careers out of our education, or maybe even going through even higher education and getting a professional degree or whatever you may be pursuing. There's probably a Kiwanian who's gone through a similar path as you have. And the more you talk to Kiwanians and the more people you meet, the more knowledge and tips that you can acquire. And definitely by talking to a lot of different Kiwanians, you may never know. And may have a lot of different experience in different fields, and you won't know that unless you talk to them, unless you like connect with them. And they're super nice. So like they'll be willing to share that experience with you, especially because they know Circle K members are budding adults in the workplace, and we are super, and all the help that we can get is super helpful, and Kiwanians are there to back us up for that. Then also Kiwanians and Circle K alumni can even get you a job offer. I've seen this happen in the past working with other people, and they've gotten job offers and they've got connected to different opportunities that actually got them hired. Some of them have become teachers and done Teach for America. Some people have done different programs in local communities. Some people have gotten involved with the communities that they served already. They decided to stay, and the Kiwanians were able to hook them up with a job, entry-level job that they can latch onto. And also, I know from personal experience, one of my friends actually got a job at Disney because his connections with different members from the Kiwanis family and Circle K alumni. So you really never know where these opportunities may take you or where all the knowledge may take you. So it doesn't hurt to branch out, and you'll never know what you're going to find. And especially as we enter the workforce, since there's so many different things that we can do, and even if we're entering a specific field, it doesn't hurt to learn how other fields work and learn how these other skills can be applied to what you're doing.
So now I'm going to speak a little about the importance and remind you how you can go about it. So as I mentioned before, it's really important to utilize Kiwanians as a source of information and knowledge, since you can learn so much about professionalism and career information about them, really, if you so choose to speak to them. Excuse me. And in addition to that, you should really take advantage of the opportunity to speak with Kiwanians and learn about their experiences and knowledge. And as Jacqueline mentioned earlier, you can really do this by shooting them an email or calling them or asking them in person, whether or not you can meet with them for coffee chats or lunch to sort of learn more about them and much broadly network.
Great. So then maybe you're like, wow, this is so much, but I don't know if I'm qualified for whatever job and internship may come my way, or you're thinking about something different from what you've been doing after talking to a couple of different people. So then you want to think about what exactly you want to have on your resume, and what skills you may possibly want to learn. Through this way, you can better create projects to better Circle K as an organization, or implement the learning experience by trying your hand as an officer. So for example, if you're like, wow, I am totally interested in finance, I want to learn more about fundraising, how to apply for grants, and whatnot, you can apply to be a treasurer, or if you're interested in human resources, you can think about membership development and education chair. If you're interested in design, you can possibly become a webmaster. For myself, I wanted to learn more about the Adobe Cloud in design as well as Photoshop, so then I applied to be a media assistant for the Kiwanis Family and Foundation Committee. And so through that, you actually have tangible projects that you work on and experience that you can add onto your resume, which is really helpful and great for whatever field that you want to go to. Just being a part of the Kiwanis family really helps give you that opportunity and stepping stone to help give you tangible projects that you can work on to put on your resume.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of bases so far in this webinar about the different things that you can use, the different tools of professional development, and different resources that you can use. Now let's talk about specific programs that you can do within Circle K and within the Kiwanis family that can help develop these skills and open up these opportunities to the members in your clubs. So the first opportunity that I want to talk about is Key to Life. So this is a program that a lot of clubs are now doing, or more clubs are doing now in the past, where you invite Kiwanians and Circle K alumni to help share some advice. They could host like a small set of workshops. They could host like an entire day worth of things, and they can share different pieces of knowledge that they've gained and also some of the tools that they've used. And also it's a great opportunity to make those connections with Kiwanians and alumni like one-on-one during these types of events. I was able to host one of these back in the beginning of 2016 before the end of this previous term. And it was really cool to see how came to this event, learned so many different things, and they took away at least one thing that they'll remember for their careers and how to work on their resume or how to talk to people and network with people. And you never really know what members you're going to get out of this program. And I think it's definitely a stepping stone in case you want to create a more devoted program to professional development. Next opportunity that I want to talk about are networking nights. So you can actually hold a networking night for your club using Kiwanians and also Circle K alumni. They're a tool that I like to use as well. And you can bring them in, you can have them critique resumes, you can have them talk about their field, and also you get to work with them one-on-one and actually like meet them face-to-face and like create those connections that you may never thought you could do before. I was able to host one of these with some of the then seniors back in my home club at the beginning of my term. And it was really cool to see all of our members have fun, and they got to like talk to people. We paired them up with people who were related to their field or the field they wanted to enter. And they definitely learned a lot. They got the resumes critiqued. They were able to like meet other people, other Kiwanians and alumni, and they even got headshots taken, which is pretty cool. I got a headshot, that was fun. And even though like this is a more devoted professional development program, they're not hard to plan. You can look at other events that maybe if they're networking events on your campus, you can look at those as well. Next thing to talk about is the Kiwanis Shadowing Program. This is a program that's been existing for a little bit of time now, and this is where you connect Circle K members with Kiwanians, like one-on-one. You pair them up like a little kind of mentor thingy, and the Circle K members have the opportunity to talk to the Kiwanians about their own career and maybe hopefully even shadow them in the workplace or like shadow them and like hear more about the things that they do day to day in their professional lives. And it's definitely a different vision of Kiwanians than usual. If you see them at Kiwanis meetings and other events with the Kiwanis family, you see them in service. Being able to see what they do outside of that is super cool too. And last thing you can do that we have suggested here is to host smaller scale events, so workshops and programs. You could have a workshop during a meeting about like resume building or how to give a firm handshake, how to network with people, how to make a good first impression, how to practice an elevator pitch, things like that. You can also hold little programs. You can host dinners and socials. Really, any opportunity to interact with Kiwanians is an opportunity to connect with them personally and connect with them professionally. And although this is not a super comprehensive list, but these lists serves more as a stepping stone rather than an end all. So these are different ideas that have been done in the past that hopefully got your gears turning. And if you want to create a professional development like program for your clubs, you can definitely do that and hopefully take these as sort of like examples and work it around to serve your members the best. And you can this could also lead you to other opportunities, thinking, oh, hey, I heard about that event. I thought that was super cool. Like, I don't want to go to a networking night now. Like, you never know what opportunities may come up with professional development. So if you want to take on these programs, there are guides and resources for them. You could also ask past Kiwanis Family chairs or ask our district KFF committee, and we have resources for you as well. Okay, so key takeaways.
So since we've talked a lot about how to be professional and professionalism with the Kiwanis family, so let me go ahead and reiterate the main talking points that we've covered. So first, we covered the 1, 2, 3s of professional development. So as you might remember, this covers a wide range of things, including networking, resumes, and skill development. Afterwards, we talked about why Kiwanians are great professional resources. And the main reason is because of maturity and experience. Third, we talked about how Kiwanians can play a role in professional development. As you may remember, this includes career mentors, career opportunities, networking, and resume building. After that, we finished up with examples of programs for Kiwanis Family professional development. And hopefully you remember that it includes Key to Life, networking nights, Kiwanis shadowing program, and small-scale workshops and programs. But please remember that these are only a suggested list. There's so many more different avenues for professional development that you can pursue yourself.
Okay, so as promised at the beginning of the webinar, we're going to do a Q&A session. So we did cover a lot of different things during this webinar about professional development, things you could do, and how the Kiwanis family fits into all of this. So we are receiving some questions. If you look at the bottom of the slides, and all the previous slides had the link to our webinar's question form. So if you do have any questions, feel free to fill that out. We are accepting responses or accepting more responses. So if you haven't submitted a question, if you have anything you want to ask, please submit it, and we will spend enough time to answer all the questions. Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a minute to submit questions, or around 30 seconds, and then we'll start answering the questions that we have. So fire away with your questions. Yeah. Okay, so we will answer the first question that we have, which is, how do you go about talking to the Kiwanians in general? Like, how to start a conversation with them to build a strong relationship with them? So this is a question that I often thought to myself when I was first working as a Kiwanis family chair. And you don't have to be a Kiwanis family chair for this to apply to you. But with Kiwanians are people too. I think a lot of times we think like, oh, they're older and they're hard to talk to. But once you start having a conversation with them, they're pretty easy to talk to, and they're very relatable. They crack lots of jokes, and they're low-key savage, but they are very nice people. And I think really you can approach Kiwanians as you approach just regular friends. If you're meeting people on campus, talk to them, introduce yourself, say hi, like, hey, what's up? Like, my name is Nick, and talk about yourself, get to know them a little bit more. And even though interactions with Kiwanians may not be super, super often, if you see them enough, like say, hey, like I remember you, like, oh, I remember seeing you at this event, like what? I just oh, I kind of forgot your name. What's your name again? Like, oh, I remember you. Your name was this, and we talked about this. Following up, like the basic networking tips can also fit super in here as well. Don't think about it as like a formula. Like it's not a super big challenge. They're people too, and the more you talk with other Kiwanians, the more comfortable you'll feel talking to even more people, more Kiwanians, and they're really nice, like I said, and they're very approachable. So even though they may seem intimidating, they are nice, and they're willing to talk to you and get to know you.
Okay, so we have another question. The question is, can we reach out to Kiwanians as regular members even though we are not a Kiwanis family chair? And the answer is absolutely. Last year, I was just a general member and didn't have any, and I wasn't a Kiwanis Family chair, but that didn't stop me from like talking to Kiwanians and like learning about their life stories and stuff. I was really fortunate because UC Berkeley has an event called Continuous Service Project event called Kiwanis Servicing. So roughly once a month, we would go into the Kiwanian, a local Kiwanian would invite us to their home, and we could have, and they would cook dinner for us. And before we ate dinner, we would do tabletop service and stuff. And it was a really great way to learn about them and like talk to them and learn about what they've done. And one of them is a really awesome musician. And he would always play all these instruments for us, and one time he spent so long talking to us about everything he's interested in. Excuse me. And you have to sort of try to like, and I would encourage you to sort of reach out to them, whether it's email, or you can also try going to their Kiwanian meetings and then just like speaking to them after the meeting and saying, hey, would you be open to like a different type of activity or something like that? And yeah, that's pretty much how I would go about answering that.
Okay, so at the moment we don't have any more questions. If you do have any questions, you can still use this form to ask questions, and we'll be checking the form after the webinar, and we can respond to you via email address, which we ask you on the form. So if you do have any questions, you can fill it out there. Also, you can reach any of us hosts directly, or you could also reach our district Kiwanis Family Chair, Kiwanis Family Foundation Chair Joseph, who has a lot of knowledge on this as well. So definitely reach out to us if you have any more further questions. And we're going to move on to the end of our webinar. So thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate you again spending time out of your busy days. I know school's getting super busy again, and Circle K is getting busy again, and we really, really thank you for taking time out to kind of dabble into this new part of the Kiwanis family that we are working to develop. The CNH Circle K district is working as a whole to increase the professional development opportunities for our members and kind of take a professional development viewpoint as we plan some of our programs. So this is kind of a part of that. So thank you all for coming, and hopefully you all walked away learning a little bit something new, whether it's just general professional development tips or specific things about the Kiwanis family or with Kiwanis. And on behalf of Jacqueline and Matt, we do thank you for giving up your time. And we are all great resources for this topic and anything Kiwanis family related. So please send us an email, talk to us if you ever need anything, okay? Yeah. So also don't forget to sign in. That is important. Because that is important. Because you won't get credit if you don't sign in. So if you haven't signed in already, please do so on the link, tinyurl.com/KFF webinar sign in. So I just want to say right now, we do have some more questions that were just submitted, but we will respond to them individually through email. Some people didn't put their email, but we will enter those later. Yeah. So if you did submit a question, didn't put your name or email address, please put that in. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, my mistake. So the link is KFF webinar sign in, not webinars sign in. That's important. So if you try using this link, it may show an error. So make sure to fix that. I forgot to fix that typo in the slides. I apologize for that. But that is the end of our webinar. You can always watch this again and again because this webinar has been recorded on YouTube Live. So look at it if you ever have any more questions or if you ever want to touch back on something that we talked about during the webinar. And we hope that you all have a wonderful night. Thank you again so much for coming out. I say thank you a lot because I am really appreciative that you all are able to come out and support us today. So have a wonderful night, and we will see you at our next webinar in February, and we will see you at District Large Scale Service Project and District Convention, which is coming up super, super soon. Registration is due super, super soon. So go to DCON. We have lots of Kiwanis family programs there as well, so you should go. And that's it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.